So you said in your testimony that you were outraged that the EPA continued to allow this type of dishonesty with the testing to continue on a national scale. Is that was one of the reasons to get them to change these loopholes, to not allow them?
Well, they went through one time with these loopholes back from 2001 to 2006 when the children in DC were lead poisoned from the water. And had the EPA immediately fixed that problem like they should have, it could have 100% prevented what just happened in Flint. They did nothing. They changed nothing. And now we have another city with children who have been exposed, who have been poisoned. Our future were our children. And yet they do nothing. We're going to wait for a third or a fourth or a fifth city. And then not only are they doing the recommendations that were made from the work group to the National Drinking Water Advisory Committee, all these recommendations will
I lost you. I lost you on the recommendations. You said these recommendations.
The recommendations from the work group to the National Drinking Water Advisory Committee will backslide what is already in place.
What do you mean by backslide?
We're taking it back to making the law. We're making the guidance worse rather than better. The EPA accepted what the work group is saying needs to be added to the rule. They're just going to sit back and let all these kids be poisoned. Let me put it to you this way. If you look at the work group recommendations, and I said it in my speech, if they're adopted, we might as well tell people there are no laws, no rules for lead and copper in water, and you're on your own.
You also said my child was not just lead poisoned by the water. He was also lead poisoned because the EPA lets the water systems lie, and lots of other cities are lying right now.
That's where we talk about the lead and copper rule and the sampling instruction sheets that are not available to the public. There needs to be transparency, and the utilities need to start working with people. One of the things that the utility companies go on and on about is that they can't get their customers to cooperate, and that, you know, they won't do these tests for them. Yeah, they will. You need to start with education. If people understand why this testing is important, they will cooperate. I know what we did with the 300 samples that we gave out to people. We educated, we distributed the kits, we collected them back. This was all citizen-based, okay? 277 out of 300 kits in a 3-week turnaround to test for the city of Flint. The city itself only got 69 samples in 6 months. And a part of those samples were last-minute samples in an area that should have never been tested because it was brand new plumbing. Brand new, minimize how much lead is showing in the system. Okay? So by the EPA allowing all this to continue, and for the no transparency on the testing methods and making sure that these utilities are in compliance the right way, that's what hurts us. That transparency needs to be there. I shouldn't have to fight. And D, are you testing right, and is that being enforced? Because like we just saw in Flint, the DEQ was lying. They were faking paperwork. And had we not, you know, been diligent on this, people wouldn't know that. So how many other cities out there in the United States are doing that to cover up a problem? And the EPA sits by and lets them do that because they're not changing the way things are right now for the better. They're making it worse.